Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nurse Kristen YouTube channel. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Today's topic is going to be all for my pre-nursing students out there. So for any of you guys that ever thought about wanting to do nursing, wanted to go to nursing school, have always thought about being a nurse, or maybe you just realized that nursing was for you all of a sudden, especially after everything within the last few years. And it's something that you've always wanted to do, this is that episode for you. So this is definitely for all of my pre-nursing students out there. I have 9 tips to get you started before you get into nursing school. What kind of stuff that you need to get done as far as give you a couple examples, doing the entrance exams, having to fill out an application, having to get your pre-reqs done, or just a couple of the things that we're going to be discussing today. But first, I want to welcome all of you guys to the YouTube channel. I will be having new episodes every single Tuesday that are going to download. It's going to be everything that has to do with pre-nursing, nursing student, new grad nurses. It's going to be educational. It's going to be inspirational. It's going to help navigate you through your nursing journey or your nursing career. So I am so excited to have you guys here. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like the video at the end if you enjoy it. But let's get going. So we're going to be discussing for every one of you guys that have ever thought about going into nursing, into the field of nursing, and you're just like, gosh, Kristen, I really, really want to do nursing. I don't know how to go about it. I don't know what all I need to do, what's required for it. What are the steps, right? Like, what are the steps that I need to think about and able to get through nursing school? So I have 9 of them that I have written down for you guys that is going to be helpful. So the number 1 step, I have everything that is written down here, is going to be obviously the very obvious one. You are excited. You just are going to embark on a nursing adventure. So the first thing you want to make sure that you're doing is you're looking to see which exact college that you're wanting to go to. What kind of nursing program are you wanting to go to? For a lot of people, that might just be dependent on location. So a lot of people, they want it to be close proximity. They want it to be within just a couple of miles. They want it to be something that's not going to have to travel and able to get to where they want. So location has a lot to do with the kind of college that you decide to go to a nursing program. Also, expense. Money is always a big thing, right? So depending on how expensive that college is, there are a lot of students that have some student loans. So you might need to get a student loan for school. Maybe you saved money knowing that this is what you wanted to do. So you saved money to go to school. Money is a big thing for a lot of people. So maybe finding the right college for nursing school that isn't going to break the bank, or that's just going to be a little bit easier in your pocket. So money has a lot to do with that. So as far as the distance where the school is, as far as the money, maybe it's just you want to go to like one of the best accredited colleges. Maybe you want to go to a college that is known to have one of the best nursing programs. Maybe it is a program that you hear so many people with so many great experiences that have gone, whether that is within the same state that you're in, maybe it's in a different state. Just the big thing is just trying to figure out first the kind of program you want to go to. So it's dependent on distance, money, the actual accreditation of the program itself, making sure it has an accreditation, right? Making sure that you're going to get the actual degree that you deserve. As we have heard, there was the whole thing in Florida. There was a lot of nurses that had gotten fake degrees, and unfortunately that was horrible. But you want to make sure it is a very good accredited college that you're going to be getting your degree from. So those are definitely things you want to look into. The other thing you really want to look into when it comes to picking the right nursing school for you is the kind of program you want to be part of. So you have anywhere between doing an associate's, you can do an associate's bridge program. So you can do your associates and your bachelor's together. So you can do both of those simultaneously. You can do and then take a break. So pretty much it's up to you and how you want to go about your degree. And again, that could be a whole cost thing, or maybe it's just, I know a lot of hospitals are going to want nurses that have both the associates and the bachelor's together. So why not just do them both together? That's exactly what I did. I went to a community college. I got my associate's degree through college. I went through a Northern Arizona University, got my bachelor's all at the same time. So I graduated at the same time with both my associates and my bachelor's at the same time. And that might be something that you're going to want to do. So definitely something to keep in mind. Mind you, there are a lot of nurses that just get the associate's program, and that's fine. But do keep in mind, it is very, very competitive whenever you get out to the nursing world. So if you do just have an associate's, just know there are going to be a lot of hospitals out there when they go to hire. They're going to be looking at people that have already their bachelor's, and it's almost going to become a mandatory thing for a lot of hospitals to making sure you're getting your bachelor's. So another thing to think about. So that's my number one tip. Make sure you are researching into the school that you want to go to. So whether that's distance, whether that's money, whether that's the accreditation, whether that's knowing it's the most amazing program out there, or just knowing what kind of program you want to be part of. So maybe if that is the bridge program you want to go to, you want to do your associates and your bachelor's together, well, then maybe you might have to go a little bit further to get to that kind of program. Or maybe it's right next door. You never know. But definitely that is the number one thing I would be telling you guys. Make sure you do your research into the colleges that you want to go to. So that's my number one tip. Second thing, make sure you get all your pre-reqs done. This is probably the one thing I have to say is not necessarily the funnest thing when it gets to getting ready to go to nursing school. And I'm just going to tell you why. Because you have chemistry class, you have biology class, you have nutrition class, you have math class, you have microbiology, you have anatomy, you have all these prereq courses that you have to take. And again, it depends on the program that you choose. And once again, whatever program you choose that you want to go to and that you want to apply to, make sure that if they do give you an acceptance letter, that you accept it and that like you have all the intention of going to that school and immersing yourself into that program and learning so much from that program and not deferring it, not saying, thanks, no thanks, I don't want to go there. And I get it. Maybe you're going to apply to multiple just because you don't know, and that's fine. But just make sure that whatever ones that you are applying to, that you have every intent that whichever ones that accept you to going into nursing school, that you are going to go to one of those. Just make sure you're not going to apply to ones that you have no intent of going to. If it's completely out in a different state, if it's wherever and you have no intention of going there, don't do it. Just only the ones that you know you want to go to, please do that. And again, as I say that, once you've chosen the communities that you want to go to, the community colleges, nursing programs that you have researched, you looked into, great. I did Kristen's tip number 1. I looked into all of that. Number 2, it is going to be doing your prereq work. Now, a lot of this is going to be your basics. So the basics that I've written down is going to be like your English 101, 102. It is your human anatomy, physiology. So it's going to be that first and second semester human anatomy. I loved human anatomy. I loved biology. So those classes I enjoyed so much. But that is definitely going to be a prereq for you. Another one, general chemistry. Oh, chemistry was definitely not my subject, guys. Not my subject at all. But it's definitely a prereq for nursing school. So you definitely have to have your 2 semesters of chemistry. Next one, you're going to need microbiology. Microbiology is huge. Loved it. Love bio classes for myself, right? Maybe that's not you. For me, I absolutely loved it. So microbiology is another big one. General math, your algebra, another big prereq that you need to make sure that you have. Intro to physiology, psychology. Those are going to be classes that you're definitely going to have to make sure that you have. Again, depending on the nursing program that you apply to, there are going to probably be some other prereq work that you're going to have to do. I mentioned earlier about nutrition class. There are going to be some that are going to require you to have a nutrition class. You may have to have that done prior to going into nursing school, so that might be part of your prereq work. Or it might be while you're in nursing school. So once you've entered into nursing school, it might be a course that you need to have done maybe after the first or second semester of your first semester or second semester of whatever of nursing school. Again, make sure you follow through when you go to the college. You're going to go to the admissions office. You're going to meet with an advisor for the nursing program. They're going to give you all of this information. And again, this is going to be a college that you're really looking into wanting to get into. I have to emphasize that again, because I have talked to so many nursing students or soon to be nursing students that go to the college and like they had no intention of even going there, but they just wanted to go and get information, I guess. Make sure you're going to the right colleges that you know that you really, really want to get into. Make sure that you meet with the advisor. They're going to give you all the information you're going to need and able to get into that nursing program. So they're going to give you a whole entire packet of things that have to be filled out. Everything from like the very first thing you're going to need to do, second thing you need to do, and able to apply for their program. But another thing they're also going to give you is that list of the prereq work that you're going to need to do and able to get into that nursing program that's going to be required. Another thing I highly, highly recommend to you guys when you are in the middle of doing your pre-work for nursing school on these classes, please take these classes seriously. And what I mean by that is don't just think getting away with getting a C, getting a C minus, or whatnot is going to be acceptable, is going to get you into a nursing program. Like I said at the beginning, guys, nursing is very, very competitive. Getting into a good nursing program is very competitive. Nursing, I have seen wait lists for nursing schools that is like 2 years long. 2 years to get into a nursing program, a good nursing program. So I am telling you, make sure you guys really indulge in the information. Make sure you get good grades. Your GPA is going to be important because that is going to be one aspect that the board's going to be looking at when they look at everyone that applies to see who's got the right, highest GPA. Again, that's not going to be the only thing they're going to look at, but it is going to be an important factor. So you want to make sure you do well in your classes because GPA is going to have a big factor as to your chances of being one of those top people that are going to be chosen, hopefully, at the end of the process whenever you get into nursing school. So I highly recommend take them seriously. And also what's helpful with these pre-work or these prereq work that I want to also mention to you, especially with like the human anatomy and biology, human anatomy physiology classes, it is going to be the very base work of what you need to understand about the human body, like the heart, the lungs, every organ, kidneys, just the basics of like what those organs are doing or how they are important to your body and what is important to making them function correctly. Because when you get into nursing school, you're going to deep dive into all of the different disorders that have to do with all of these important organs that your body uses. So you want to understand the basics, and you want to understand the basics really well. So don't just try to memorize everything. I'm going to tell you right now, because especially when you get into nursing school, just memorizing material is not going to get you anywhere. You actually have to understand the underlying reason of why things are the way that they are. So make sure from the very get-go that you really truly understand why everything happens the way it is. So in these classes, you're going to learn the basics. So just make sure you really put yourself into it. Get as much out of the classes, learn as much as you can, make sure you do well, and make sure you just try to get as well as good grades as you can when you're taking the classes. So I just had to put that out there when I talk about the prereq work, because that is going to be important. But again, research into the college, see which ones are required. Again, depending on the actual college that you're going to attend for nursing school will depend on which other required work that might need to be done. So definitely something to research, definitely for something you to do. So that's number 2. And number 3 that I want you guys to understand as well, when you go to get into nursing school, you're going to have what is so fun. Aside from doing all your prereq work, you're going to have an entrance exam that you're going to have to take, and you're going to have to score pretty well on it as well. So this is what we call the TES, or the TEAS, I should say, the TEAS exam or the HESI entrance exam. And what this is it's basically going to give you knowledge of reading comprehension, math, anatomy, physiology, biology, all of these different concepts, all these different classes. And it is going to be all on one large big test, right? So you are going to have this entrance exam. It's going to score you on there. And I know for a lot of these colleges, for whenever you go to get into these community or the nursing programs, they're going to want you to be above the 80%. And actually, even by now, it might even be higher because once again, guys, it's so competitive getting into nursing school. So you want to make sure that you're doing really, really, really well. There are a lot of really great resources out there. So depending again on which program, which nursing school you're attending will depend on if you're going to have the TEAS entrance exam or if you're going to have the HESI entrance exam. So for instance, I did the HESI entrance exam for my school. So I actually had ordered a HESI review entrance book that I studied from. And it was very helpful. It basically will go over the concepts and then you do a bunch of questions, review. TEAS is exactly the same thing. Again, it's just another resource that other schools will use, but I highly recommend that you get these resources, these books to study from. Even while you're doing your prereq work, you can even kind of be going through these books as you might be learning this material in biology or in chemistry or reading and, all of this stuff. Like you can kind of do all of it together just so you get an understanding of what all of this is going to encompass. So definitely highly recommend these resources. Like I mentioned, there is the TEAS and there is the HESI, and there are different resources that you can get and different books, and I will definitely link them to here so you guys can check them out and you guys can work ahead. So entrance exams, very, very important. So aside from your GPA, from your prereqs, they're also going to be looking at this entrance exam. Yes, if you don't do well in a certain section, you can take it again. You can retake it. And depending again on the school you're going to will depend also on how many times you can retake it after how long. So you might have to wait a little bit in between taking if you didn't do well to try to do better next time. See where your weak points are at. Study the weak points and study them over and over. Do more questions. But that's definitely going to be something else they're going to look at. They're going to look at your GPA from all your prereq work. They're going to look at this entrance exam, see how well you did on all of these areas. So that is something else that goes into everything for when you get into nursing school. Something else for you guys to think about. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about, another thing that is you're going to have to complete whenever you go to get into a nursing program is going to be a background check. So, and that's for everything. So once you get to the college and you get all of your application paperwork from the college, you're also going to get paperwork to go and get a background check. So you're going to go and do that. That is standard. That goes for every college you go to. You're going to do a background check. You're also going to be doing a drug screening. So you're going to get that form. You're going to have to go somewhere, do a drug screening, do a urinalysis, all of that stuff, right? That's all part of it. So you're going to do that, drug screening. You're going to do a background check. You're also going to need a fingerprint clearance card. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, fingerprint clearance card, there's a lot of different agencies out there where you can get this done. You also can go to a police department. You can go and get your fingerprints done there. You're going to need this and able to do clinicals. You're going to need this when you're in nursing school and able to do your clinicals. Highly, highly telling you that because it is very important that you have this fingerprint clearance card. So you're going to need, again, the background check, the drug testing, and the fingerprint clearance card. Those are going to be very, very important as when you go to apply for nursing school. So another thing that you're going to have to think about. Next thing that's going to be really big with nursing school, guys, and I'm telling you, this was like a big deal, but it is getting and making sure all your vaccinations are there and up to date. And the schools are going to have an app for you. Most of them do for a program that they're going to be able to get all of your vaccines updated to. So they can keep track of it as to like when you got it and when it's due again, because you have to have it updated. You have to make sure you get that flu shot every year. But you're going to have to make sure you have all these vaccines. And to give you an idea of these vaccines, you're going to have now the COVID-19 vaccine plus the boosters. So you're going to have the booster shots. You're going to have the influenza. So you're always going to have that flu shot, the hepatitis B, you're going to have the varicella, so basically the chickenpox vaccine, the meningitis, the MMR, so the measles, mumps, and the rubella, tetanus, and TB. Those are some of the biggest ones that nursing schools require and able to go for their programs. So that's going to be another big thing you're going to have to do. So whether it's if you have had all of these recently, make sure you have record of them and when you had them to be able to give to the school or upload to the application, the app, or whatever that your school uses to be able to keep it in there. And then, as I said, they're going to keep track of that. They're going to know if you're behind on any of these, if you haven't had it done, because it can also keep you from doing any clinicals or any sort of work once you're in nursing school. So you want to make sure that you guys get this done in a timely manner. So again, vaccines is huge. So make sure you get all of your records together. If you haven't had any of these done, make sure you go and get them done. You can get them done at any local drugstore, CVS, Walgreens, your doctor's office, anything like that. You can go get them done. Super simple. Just make sure you have all that together as well when you get all of your paperwork completed for nursing school. Next thing that's going to be important for nursing school when you guys go to apply is being CPR certified. They're going to require that you have your basic CPR, which means you can go online to American Heart Association and you can sign up and you can basically get this done on your own time, wherever. However, it does have to be hands-on because you do have to be there with the mannequin to be able to do them compressions and breathing and all of that stuff. And then you're going to have to take a test and make sure that you pass that test. It's a written test. And then you're also, again, you're going to do hands-on actual CPR practice with a certified person that runs the whole thing. So with this, you want to make sure you get it because, again, you have to have this for nursing school. So you're going to want to get this. Usually they'll send you like an electronic CPR card. I don't think they really have physical ones anymore. But again, it'll also be something else that you'll upload to your school or your portal or whatever as you're going through your application process for nursing school to have it done. So make sure you get your CPR certification, your basic CPR. You're going to need it when you get in to nursing school. Another thing to get done, another thing to check off. Next thing I also want to make sure that you guys understand as well, when you know the programs that you guys are going to want to apply to, you're going to have like an admission packet just from that program itself. So again, like I mentioned, whenever you first start knowing where you're wanting to go for your nursing program, what schools you want to go to, meet with that advisor, meet with them, see what's required, what you need to do, get all the information. They'll give you all the information you need, or they will give you a website to go to where you can download all the forms you're going to need to fill out and able to apply. And I know some of them you can upload right away as you go, and then you can finalize it as you have finished everything from your pre-reqs, your vaccines, your drug test, all of that stuff. Once you have all that done, sometimes you're just going to have to keep hold of all of that. So fill it all out, and then they have you upload all of that or turn it in once you've completed everything. And I mean everything from you finished the prereqs, you did the entrance exam, you've done your CPR, you've done your vaccines, and you've done everything. So just depending, but every program, every community college, every university, whatever nursing school that you decide to go to, they're going to have their own application paperwork for you to fill out aside from everything else. So make sure you also have that all filled out. The other thing I want to say that goes with this is make sure that whichever semester you're trying to get into. So say like you're trying to get into fall 2023, like this upcoming fall, right? Make sure that you meet the deadline. Usually on all these applications, they will give you a deadline date as to when this has to be turned in by. Make sure you turn it in by that date, guys. I am telling you, if you do not turn it in by that date, they are not going to take it. So take that seriously in knowing when you have to have your stuff done. Get the appointments done for your vaccines. Get the appointments done to get your drug testing. Get that entrance exam out of the way. Get all of that stuff completed. And make sure you have that done before that date. because they will not take it after that date. And I have known people that have applied and did not get in because they did not listen to that. And they usually always have it in big bold letters on those applications, guys, of when the deadline is. So make sure, please, 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 that you look at that, know when the deadline is. Make sure you get it in sooner than that. And just so to make sure to make your chances of getting in for that semester a lot higher. So just make sure you look at when that deadline is of when you're going to have to turn everything in and have everything completed by. The next thing I have, step 8. I highly recommend, and I really, really tell people this a lot, is that you have to understand when you get into a nursing program, it is unlike any other program, any other class, anything you guys have ever done in your entire life. It is very, very time consuming. It is very stressful. It is going to take a lot of your time. You're going to be studying a lot. You're going to be doing a lot of homework. You're going to be doing a lot of outlines. You're going to be going to clinicals. You're going to be doing all sorts of community service work. You're going to be doing, nursing school is going to take so much time. And I mean so much time. And I don't feel or think that a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people know, like it is going to take a lot of you in the program. But then once you're doing it, you're like, oh God, like Kristen, this is more stressful than I ever thought that this was going to be. And I get you, girl. I get you. I was 100% in those shoes. So the other thing I recommend to you guys is please, please, please understand when you so if you, especially for any of you guys that have a family at home, if you're married, have kids, if you're caring for anyone else at the house than yourself, you have a dog, anything, put into consideration that this is going to take a lot of your time. It is going to take so much of your time. So make sure you plan stuff according for whenever you go into nursing school. So whether if you have kids, make sure you have that support at home for daycare, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, parents that can watch your kids for you while you're in school or while you're studying. You're going to have a lot of time you're going to need to study when you're in clinicals. It's going to take so much time. So you want to make sure you're planning your life accordingly. Make sure you make those plans ahead of time. Also, the same thing goes as far as balancing your time, knowing a lot of you work. A lot of you guys have to work. We all have bills. We all have things that we have to pay for. We all have things that we have responsibilities for. So there's a lot of people that have to work while you're in nursing school too. So that's the other thing to really kind of consider too. So a lot of the times I know people start full-time when they first start a nursing program and they're able to keep that, and that's perfectly fine and that's great. It's a lot to juggle. Guys, I worked full-time when I was in nursing school. I worked full-time, 40 hours a week, and I did my nursing program. And I'm just going to tell you, it's hard. It's very, 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 very hard. Not saying you cannot do it, but it takes a lot to be able to do a full-time nursing program and then be able to work full-time. But again, like I mentioned, there's so many of us that have those obligations, that responsibility, and have bills to pay. So I totally get it if you have to work. But once things start going, if you notice that it's way too much, you might need to go part-time. I know a lot of people that ended up not working at all, but then they also had the support of a spouse or a family or a friend or someone that lived with them that knew that was going on, or people that did have student loans that helped with those expenses. So definitely, again, just knowing what is to come as far as how much this program is going to take a lot of your time, a lot of everything. Make sure you plan accordingly to that. And just know that you might have to switch things up a little bit, obviously in the beginning, especially when you realize just how crazy this program is going to be. Because like I said, this isn't just like taking your 3 classes of your pre-req work or anything like that. This is a whole different ball game, by the way. So just make sure you guys plan accordingly. It's so, so important. It's going to be a wild ride. It's a great ride. but it's going to be a wild one. So just make sure you guys think that and take that in consideration and plan ahead of time once you know that you're into nursing school and you were accepted. Okay. And then the last thing I tell people too is once you're done with everything, once you've completed everything, so you've done all your pre-reqs, you've done your CPR, you've done your vaccines, you've done your application, entrance exam, you've done all of that stuff and you got accepted, which is exciting. We can all like celebrate with you. Then just relax, please. Don't stress yourself out with wanting to like get ahead right away, right before nursing school and like want to like get all of this stuff done. Cause let me tell you, you're going to have plenty of that when you're not going to have a lot of time, like to do anything. Like you're not going to have a lot of downtime once nursing school starts. So make sure you guys take the time now before the program starts to relax. Enjoy that time with family and friends. Enjoy that time with your pet. Enjoy that time just to chill, watch your favorite Netflix show, movie you guys haven't watched, or anything like that. Because once nursing school starts, it's going to be full throttle and it is going to be a crazy ride, guys. It's going to be crazy. But it's going to be a great journey too. It's going to be stressful, but it's going to be a great journey. But I'm going to be here with you every one step of the way and help you in any way possible. So those are all my tips. So just to recap, I am also going to have a download that you guys can download. Kind of a checklist in a way, and I'm going to have a way to have you guys be able to check things off as you go, as you're getting through to go for your nursing journey. And then I'm also going to have the links that are going to be in this below as well on this video for entrance books. That's going to help you as far as studying for the entrance exams to get into nursing school, just to kind of help you guys a little bit. So I appreciate it. We'll kind of recap this, guys, okay? So nursing admission checklist, make sure you research your school. Make sure it is the school you want to go to. So again, if that's money related, if it's distant related, if it's the accreditation, if it's just as far as it being maybe an associate's versus bachelor's, or they do both, whatever it is that makes you pick whichever schools that you want to apply to, make sure you research, okay? Research. Next, make sure you get all of your prereqs done. Again, there's the basics. I will have that on the free download as far as just your general prereqs. But again, make sure you guys reach out to your nursing school, reach out to the advisors, make an appointment with them, get the paperwork, get the actual prereqs that's required for that school that you need to get done so that you have that, and then you can plan your schedules accordingly and what you're going to take each semester, each summer semester, and able to get that done. So make sure you get your prereqs done and make sure you do well in them. Once again, nursing is very, very competitive. So make sure you do as well as possible. Then again, entrance exam. So whether that's the TEAS, the HESI, you're going to have an entrance exam that you're going to be taking. So make sure you get those books, those study material. You can get them online, Amazon, wherever you can get books, Barnes & Noble. They're everywhere. I will have links here below as well for the resources for you guys that you guys can look. But that's important too. Make sure you guys start studying for that. And then after that, again, background check, drug check, and your fingerprint clearance card. You're going to need all of that as well. Make sure that you guys get your vaccines. Make sure they're updated. Make sure you have all of the receipts for them. Upload them to a portal. If they already give you access to be able to upload all that information, make sure that's recent. Make sure that's up there. Very important to have all that done. Otherwise, you may not be able to take part in anything when you start nursing school. Make sure you have that done. Make sure you finish that admission packet. Like I mentioned, know whenever that you're going to be having that deadline and able to get that turned in, to get that admission checklist back in. Because again, like I said, if you do not get that in on time, you will miss your chance. So make sure you know when that deadline is. So like I said, if you were applying for like the fall 2023, make sure you know that you have everything done by then so you can submit all of this information at that time if it's able. And then again, make sure you set yourself up for success. Make sure you know, like once you get into the program, Set yourself up for success. Make sure you have daycare set aside if you have kids at home. Make sure your spouse is super supportive and understands you're going to be a lot busier than normal, studying a lot more. You're going to have to set your date times for another time, whatever it's got to be. Super, super important. And then again, relax, guys, because you're going to have years of craziness of studying for nursing. So make sure you relax before you start. Enjoy every moment of it, because then it's not going to happen for a while. I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy ride. So that is it for me, guys. But please, 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 I'm going to be having a lot more of these kind of videos every single week on Tuesdays. It's going to be super, super helpful. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe, and make sure you follow along. There will be a new one for next week. And then until then, thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you again next week.